In this video, I'm going to show you how to take advantage of unlimited elements and decorate your website to get it ready for the Christmas holiday season. Without no more further ado, let's jump in and get started. Today in the video, I'm going to give you some ideas of how you can get your website ready for Christmas and the holiday season. So first of all, before starting, you're going to want to make sure that you have unlimited elements for Elementor installed and activated on your WordPress website. We're going to jump into widgets, which is a cloud-based library of widgets for Elementor that is separated into categories. Over here, I'm going to use the search and I'm going to write Christmas. And that's going to find all the widgets that have the word Christmas in it. And as you can see, it's filtered all the categories that have Christmas widgets. And right now we're in the creative widgets category and it's showing Christmas icons. So if you want to see how that looks in a preview, you can just preview that on our website and you'll go to the widget demo. Or you can just click install and that's going to install it to your Elementor website. So I'm going to jump between the different categories right now and I'm going to start installing all the different Christmas widgets. So I've installed some icons. This is a Christmas button. Let's add a Christmas heading. It's called Christmas text for writing all sorts of awesome headings. And we have also separators and dividers. So we have two of these actually. So I'm just going to click on both of them and we'll see later on which one we're going to use in our website. You can see that the install is pretty quick. Now I'm going to jump into the background section since there's also widgets and backgrounds. And over here, I'm going to install the snow background and the moving stripes background. I'm not sure I'm going to use both of them, but I think that they're both suitable for a Christmas website if you change the colors and use them properly. So the next thing is to start editing an existing page or adding a new page. In my case, I don't have a page that I want to edit, so I'm just gonna create a new page that I'm gonna call Christmas sale. This could be maybe a landing page, but the techniques that I'm going to use today can be used in landing pages, in product pages, or in any other page that you have on your website. So it's not just for creating a landing page, it's just some ideas of how you can decorate your website for Christmas and the holiday season. Once my page is published, I can go ahead and click Edit with Elementor to open the Elementor page builder. To get started, I'm going to start creating my hero section. For my hero section, I'm going to use a container that's split into two columns. So I'm going to select the structure over here that's split into two columns. On my right column, what I'm going to add is an image. It's going to be my hero image. Let's upload an image over here by selecting it from my desktop, and I'm going to upload my hero image. Awesome. So this is going to be my hero image. In case it's too big, you can make it smaller by going into style and start playing with the width. I think this is a good size. The next thing I'm going to do is add a background to the section. So I'm going to go into style, add a background, and I'm going to choose a red Christmas background. This is looking pretty good. The next thing I'm going to do is add a heading. So let's just throw in a heading over here and we're going to write our heading. So Christmas sale. Awesome. Now, usually I'm going to want to align this vertically to the middle. So I'm going to go into my container and over here in justify content, I can select the center align. I'm going to add some text over here to explain about what the sale or the product page is about. And I'm going to add a really awesome call to action button. So I'm just going to search for the word Christmas and it's going to find all the Christmas widgets over here. I'm going to use the Christmas button and drag and drop that into my Elementor canvas. This is a really simple button, and all you need to do is just put your text over here, and it has kind of an awesome gradient effect with some snow falling from the top, and it's a responsive, so it depends how much text you have over here. It's going to get larger. You can play around with the radius, with the padding, and everything you need. You can even align this, do whatever you need. So this is a really awesome kind of effect that can go well with a Christmas kind of theme or page. Let's change the text over here to white. And over here, let's change that also to white. The next thing I'm going to do to make this look good is add some snow. So let's click on the container. Over here, instead of background, I'm going to go into unlimited background, and I'm going to select the snow background that I've installed earlier inside of the widget catalog. Inside of the snow background, you have all sorts of effects, all sorts of snow types, and you can play around with the size, the speed, opacity, and stuff like that. So by default, it's looking pretty good. I think it's a little bit too much snow, so I'm gonna decrease the quantity from 100 to 50, and let's see if that might look a little bit better. Yeah, I think that's looking a little bit better. So to finish up my section, I think I'm going to do two things. So first of all, I'm going to add some space over here because I think the button is too close. So let's use the spacer widget for that, and maybe decrease that to 20. Of course, you can use also padding, but I always like using the spacer widget. I find that convenient. And over here in the button, I think it's a little bit too fat. So maybe let's decrease the padding over here. I'm going to unlink, and let's do 12 from the top and bottom. This is looking better. And maybe you can play around with the colors as well. So maybe over here, I'm just going to use a brighter kind of color. You can play around with these colors until you get the exact effect that you want. Awesome. So this is looking good. And of course, if you want, you can change the text and stuff like that. So, okay, so we got this part set up. To finish up my hero section, I want to make this hero image snap to the bottom. So I'm not sure you're acquainted with this, but when adding a container, it has some padding. Even though you don't see any padding over here, it has some minimal padding. So I'm just going to unlink that, and then it makes 0 padding. And I need to take the parent container as well. The best way to go to the container parent is click on the navigator and just find the container that's holding these two columns, these two column containers. So I'm going to click on the parent container, and inside of advanced, I'm going to do the same thing. And now you can see that that's snapping nicely. Now her head is touching the ceiling right now, which I think is a little bit too close. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some padding top. So let's say 100 pixels. That's looking pretty good. And to finish up this section, I think I'm going to add also a timer. So there are two ways to add a timer, I think, to this section that would be good. You can add it maybe on top of the text or under the text. So let's see where that looks good. I'm just going to search for the timer. The widget is called a timer countdown, and I'm going to drag and drop that inside. Over here in the date, I'm going to change it to 2023, just so we can see the dates going on over here. And we can start playing around with the settings. So first of all, in the labels, I like to change minutes to min and seconds to sec, just so that they're not that long. And inside of style, what I think I'll do is maybe take down the padding a little bit. So something like 20 pixels over here. And that's starting to look pretty good. maybe change the box background. And we can start playing around with the title as well. So this could be red or black. You need to play around with this just to see what your preference is. But let's go for red and black and see how that looks. And maybe in the typography, I'll make the numbers a little bit bigger just so they stand out. So this is looking pretty good. And it's kind of driving people to take action, because once you have something like this, then users will definitely want to click the button more, because it's like kind of calling them to take action. So we can close our navigator over here. And maybe another thing that we can do in this section is sort of take advantage of Elementor and add a shape divider. But we don't want to add it to the top. We want to add it to the bottom. And over here, I think the one I'm going to use is Wave Brush, which looks pretty good. That's kind of going with the snow. But as you can see, the shape divider right now is behind the image, and I want it to be on top. So over here, there's a setting that's called Bring to Front. And I'm just going to click that. And now it's cropping the image nicely. And this section is starting to look really, really good. I think we can jump into the next section. So in the next section, what I'm going to do is add some content boxes, but instead of using the regular text box widgets, I'm going to build these myself. And this is also kind of sort of a tutorial for how to use containers if you're not acquainted with that as well. So let's start by adding one big container over here. And on top, I'm going to add some text. So maybe we can add the Christmas heading at this point. So that's the Christmas text widget over here. And it's a little bit too small, as you can see. So in the typography, I'm going to change that to something like 48. And this works the best with really bold text. So the bigger the text and the bolder, this is going to look better. And over here in the stripe spacing, you can also make that smaller. So the smaller it is, the better it's going to look. But of course, it depends on the font that you're going to use and stuff like that. So this is looking pretty good. Another thing that we can use to make this look awesome is the Christmas lights. So the Christmas lights is a kind of separator. And what's nice about it is by default, it comes with 5 lights. But you can add as many lights as you want. So if you go into items, you can start adding more and more. So let's just add one more. And the colors are going to be random. But you can change them over here. So you can play around with that. And each one has a flash as well. So this is a really, really cool widget. You can play around with the order over here, just to make that string of lights the exact way that you want. So it's kind of a small effect, but it has a big impact, because once users come and see something like this, they say, hey, this guy has put a lot of thought into this page and a lot of effort. Let's continue. And what we're going to do is sort of split this into 3 columns. Now, in the new container way, we're going to need to add a parent container. So this is our parent container. And inside of that container, we're going to add 3 columns. Now, to do that, I'm just going to add 1, duplicate it, and duplicate it again. And as you can see, now these 3 are not columns. They're one under the other. So I need to go into the parent container and choose direction row horizontal. And now these are one next to the other. To start building our boxes, I'm going to add the icon, the Christmas icon. So this is just a really awesome icon pack The icon pack comes with 25 different icons, and you can choose 3 different styles for each icon. So the styles that there are colored. So this is a colored icon. There's just a line icon. And in case you're using a line icon, then there's no colors inside. And there's an icon with a background. Now, the one that I like the most is the colored one, but take in mind that you can use any of these. So we're just going to use the colored one because that looks really awesome. If you want, you can add a hover effect. You can enable a link if you want to. And of course, inside a style, we can play around with the size of this. So let's go for 72. And let's just align this to the start. Let's add some heading text under here. Make sure that you're inside of the column. Let's say free shipping. So over here, what I want to do is like explain people why they should buy the products from my website, or what advantages I have on top of my competitors. So over here, I'm going to use secondary just so that's not too big. And another type of separator that you could use is called the candy separator. I'm just going to show that. Now, usually you're not going to want to use all of these together, but I just want to show you how they work and what kind of effects you can get with these. So that's pretty cool. We can add over here a text editor underneath, if I'll manage to snap that. And this is looking pretty awesome. Over here, maybe let's change the icon to something else, like maybe a deer. And you can go ahead and start duplicating this to the other columns. Let's change the width over here to maybe 50 pixels. And you can also change the height. So it could be really, really subtle and nice. Just to give it a little bit of nice touch. So instead of copying each one of these widgets, I'm just going to duplicate the whole thing. And we can delete this column, duplicate this again, delete this column. And you know what? This is looking pretty good in 4 columns. So I'm going to leave it in 4 columns. We can give each one of these a different text. And let's go for free shipping, Christmas spirit, and maybe let's say ho ho ho, and special sale. Awesome. So we got everything set up over here. Let's choose a different icon just to show you how easy this is. I mean, this is super easy, super fast. You can play around with it and choose whatever ones that you like. Maybe let's go for a cane over here. That's looking pretty good. Play around with the width. This one needs to be a bit bigger, just so everything gets aligned properly. And let's do the last one. Maybe we have a Santa over here. Good. So these are looking really, really awesome. Everything seems to be looking good. And we finished the section. Now, before we go on to the next section, we can just add a little bit of padding over here. So let's go into the parent container, turn off the padding, and just add a little bit of padding bottom over here. Now for the next section, what I'm going to do, it's just going to be a separator section. Now to create a separator section, that's just going to separate us from between sections, let's say that. So And I'm going to add one column section. Now, instead of using the regular separator, I'm going to make a custom one. So first of all, let's add some background color. We're going to use our regular red color over here. And inside of this section, I'm going to add an image. Let's select the image that I've uploaded earlier, which is kind of trees or mountains. And in the section, I'm going to go into layout, and in width, I'm going to go for full width. As we did earlier, I want this to snap to the bottom, so I'm going to turn off the padding. And actually, we can add some padding from the top. Now I'm going to go back to the image size full. And in case it doesn't go full, because it might be smaller, I'm going to go for 100% width. And what's nice about this technique is that it's kind of working as a shape divider. And what I think would be awesome in this case is adding snow like we've added before over here. So let's click on that, click Style, Unlimited Background, and we're going to use the snow background. So it works pretty much out of the box. Just to show you a different use case over here, you don't have to use snowballs for your snow effect. We have all sorts of snow kind of shapes. So let's just use this one that's called rimmed crystals, so you can see how that looks. And you can see that just gives it a different like flake kind of effect. And again, these are too much, so I'm just going to use 50. But of course, you can change any one of the settings over here, play around with the size, the speed, and the opacity, stuff like that. You can also change the direction, like for example, bottom right. So that means that I want it to flow like kind of this direction. So that's kind of like a windy snow. Now I'm going to take back this one, kind of text, and finish up my page. So I'm going to say Merry Christmas. Maybe take one of these icons and put them above my let's use a bell kind of, and let's center that to the center. That's looking pretty good. We can add some text as well. And to finish this page up, let's take our snow button and add another call to action over here. So let's align that to the center. And if this is too wide, first of all, you're going to want to center your text, of course, if everything is centered. You can go inside of the container and play around with the parent width. So that's our Christmas page. To summarize what we've done today, we've added a section with some falling snow, with a timer and a Christmas call to action button. We've used the Christmas text to create a heading. We've used the Christmas lights to add a separator. We've added our Christmas icons to make some awesome Christmas icon boxes. Inside of the icon boxes, we've added a candy separator, and we've made a unique kind of separator and custom shape divider using a custom graphic, and we've added a footer to finish up the page. I hope you guys found this tutorial tips and techniques helpful. If you have any questions, you can post them in the comments. Have a Merry Christmas, and I'll see you in the next video.